It all started when I came back to check on my grandfather's old land, a sprawling 50-acre plot that had been in the family for generations. I'd been living in the city for years, caught up in work, life, family. The deed was always safely in my name, title clear, never really worried about it. Figured the land was just sitting there empty, like always. Then one day I got a call from an old neighbor. "Bro, what's going on? There are bulldozers, cranes, trucks everywhere on your plot. They're saying it's a brand new luxury subdivision." I thought it was a joke. Open Google Maps. My entire parcel had neat little grid lines drawn over it. Foundations poured. Framing going up on some lots already. They were building full-on houses. Turns out a big, well-connected HOA and their developer had somehow mistaken the boundary. Or maybe not mistaken at all. They pulled permits, started marketing, took huge down payments from buyers promising dream homes in an upscale gated community. Plans showed almost 100 houses, sprawling 4 to 5 bedroom properties, pools, clubhouse, the works. People were already signing contracts, picking finishes, posting on social media about our forever home. I went straight to my lawyer. He pulled the records, ran a fresh survey. "Everything's crystal clear," he said. "This is 100% your land. We can shut this down tomorrow with an injunction." But something stopped me. I told him, "Hold on, let them keep going." So I stayed quiet, watched from a distance. Every week there was progress. 15 homes framed, 30 roofs on, landscaping trucks rolling in, model homes decorated with fake families smiling in the brochures. Ads everywhere. Limited homes remaining, move-in ready by spring. Families were dreaming, kids picking bedrooms, wives planning kitchens, husbands calculating mortgages. Some had already sold their old places and were waiting to move. I kept the folder locked away, original deed from 1972, chain of title, tax receipts, aerial photos from the 90s showing the exact boundaries, the recent survey screaming fraud or gross negligence. Every brick they laid, every dollar they spent, every family they excited, it all stacked higher and higher in my favor. Finally, the day came. Almost every home was finished, paint fresh, driveways sealed, mailboxes up, some families already unpacking boxes and hanging curtains. Grand opening ceremony planned for next weekend. That's when I walked into court with my lawyer, laid the entire file on the table in front of the judge, and said calmly, "Your Honor, these 100 homes sitting on my land were built without my knowledge, without my permission, and without a single cent paid to me. Here is the undisputed deed. Here is the survey. Here is proof this entire development is on property I have owned free and clear for decades." The courtroom went dead silent. The HOA's lawyers started sweating through their suits. The developer's team looked like they'd seen a ghost. Buyers who had already moved in were in the gallery, some crying, some furious, some just staring in shock. The judge flipped through the documents, face unreadable. The HOA tried to argue, "Good faith mistake, boundary dispute, we can negotiate compensation," but the paper trail was brutal. No easement. No adverse possession claim that would hold up. No forged documents on my side. Just cold, hard title in my name. The judge looked up and asked the obvious question everyone in the room was thinking. "So, what exactly are you asking the court to do now?" The judge's question hung in the air like smoke. "So, what exactly are you asking the court to do now?" I didn't rush the answer. I let the silence do some of the work. Every eye in the room was on me. The HOA board members in their crisp polos, the developer's slick team in $1,000 suits, the families who'd already hung family photos on walls they thought were theirs forever. I stood up slowly. "Your Honor, I'm not here to tear down anyone's home. I'm not asking for demolition. I'm not even asking for the land back empty. What I want is simple justice under the law." I paused, then laid it out. These 100 homes sit on my property. The structures, the improvements, the value they've added, they belong to me now, by operation of law. But I recognize that real people live here. Children go to school from these addresses. Elderly parents are unpacking boxes, they just moved in. I don't want to destroy lives to prove a point. The gallery murmured. Some relief, some confusion. So here's my position. I will grant quiet title to confirm my ownership of the land. But I will also offer every homeowner and the HOA a structured way forward. They can either buy the land under their home at fair market value, as determined by an independent appraiser chosen by the court. Full price, no discounts for their good faith mistake, or if they can't or won't pay, vacate peacefully within 90 days, and I will compensate them for the fair value of their improvements only, not the land, not the location premium they paid for, just bricks, concrete, wiring, plumbing. After that, the homes become mine to sell, rent, or keep. The HOA and developer? They're jointly and severally liable for every cent of fraud, trespass, unjust enrichment, and punitive damages this court sees fit to award. I'm asking for full restitution of the land's value, plus treble damages for the willful overstep, plus attorney fees, plus interest running from the day the first bulldozer touched my dirt. The developer's lead counsel jumped up. This is extortion. He let us build for months. He sat on his hands. I turned to him directly. I didn't let you do anything. You never asked. You never checked title. You never sent a single letter, never knocked on a door, never ran a proper survey. You just took. And I watched you take. Every nail, every dollar, every dream you sold on my land without permission. That's not sitting on my hands. That's gathering evidence while you kept digging your own hole deeper. The judge raised a hand. Enough. Mr. My last name, your position is noted. The court will take this under submission. I want briefs from all parties within 14 days. Appraisals will be ordered. And I want mediation attempted before we go any further, because if this goes to full trial, the fallout will be catastrophic for everyone involved. He banged the gavel. Court is adjourned. As people filed out, chaos erupted in whispers and sobs. One woman, maybe mid-30s, holding a toddler, walked straight up to me outside the courthouse. Tears streaming. Please, we just moved in 3 weeks ago. This is everything we had. We sold our old house to afford this. What are we supposed to do now? I looked at her for a long moment. Ma'am, I'm not the villain here. The people who sold you a house they didn't own are. But I hear you. Talk to your lawyer. Get in the mediation. We'll figure something out that doesn't leave kids homeless. She nodded, wiped her face, and walked away. Behind me, the HOA president was already on the phone, voice shaking. We need to call an emergency board meeting and get the insurance people on the line right now. Word spread fast. Local news vans showed up within the hour. Headlines started rolling. Nightmare for 100 families. Homes built on stolen land. Developer's mega mistake could cost millions. Social media exploded, some calling me a heartless opportunist, others calling me a legend who finally stood up to greedy developers. That night I sat on my porch back in the city, scrolling through the comments, the threats, the support messages. My phone buzzed nonstop. Lawyers, reporters, even a couple of the buyers trying to reach me directly. And then came the call I wasn't expecting, the developer himself. Listen, he said, voice low. We both know this can get ugly, but maybe there's a number that makes this go away quietly. For everyone. I smiled into the dark. I'm listening. The developer's voice on the phone was shaky, trying to sound confident. Name your price. We can settle this out of court quietly. No headlines, no bankruptcy, for anyone. Just a clean number that makes everyone walk away happy. I didn't answer right away. I let him sweat through another long pause. Happy. I finally said, you sold 100 families homes that weren't yours to sell. You took their life savings, their dreams, on land you never owned. And now you want to buy your way out with a check, so you can sleep at night? He stammered. It was a clerical error. A boundary mix-up. We'll make it right. No, I told him. You'll make it right my way. Or the court will. Mediation happened 2 weeks later in a sterile conference room on the top floor of the county courthouse. Everyone was there. HOA board, developers execs, lawyers on both sides, a court-appointed mediator, and, because the judge insisted, a representative group of 5 homeowners. The room smelled like expensive coffee and fear. The mediator started neutral. "We're here to find a practical resolution. Mr. My name, you've outlined your position. The other side has counterproposed a global settlement, $18 million lump sum to you, plus they cover all legal fees, and title is quieted in exchange for no further claims." 18 million. It sounded like a fortune. It was a fortune. But I looked around a table at the faces, some defiant, some broken, and shook my head. That number covers maybe half the land's current value now that you've improved it with 100 luxury homes. It ignores the fraud, the trespass, the months you profited off my property while I said nothing. And it leaves the buyers holding the bag if their title insurance fights you later. One of the homeowner reps, a retired teacher named Maria, spoke up, voice trembling. "Sir, we didn't know. We trusted the brochures, the model homes, the promises. If you take everything, we lose our homes. Our kids change schools mid-year. Please." I met her eyes. "I know you didn't know. That's why I'm not asking for demolition. But someone has to pay for this mess, and it can't just be me." The developer jumped in. "We'll sweeten it, $25 million. And we'll cover relocation costs for anyone who can't buy their lot outright." "Still no." I slid a single sheet of paper across the table. It was my final offer, typed, dated, signed. "Here's how this ends. The court confirms quiet title in my name. Undisputed. Every homeowner gets first right of refusal to purchase the land under their home at 75% of the court-appointed appraised value. No markup for the gated community. Premium you sold them on. They get 180 days to close, with financing assistance from the developer if needed. For those who can't or won't buy, they vacate within 120 days. I pay them 100% of the fair market value of their improvements only, appraised separately. After that, the homes are mine to sell or rent. The HOA and developer pay me $42 million in damages. $30 million for the land's fair value plus unjust enrichment, $10 million punitive for willful misconduct, $2 million attorney fees and costs. Payable in installments over 36 months, secured by personal guarantees from the developer's principals and a lien on their other assets. Full public apology from the HOA and developer, published in local papers and on their websites. Admitting the error, taking responsibility, and stating no buyer was intentionally misled, but that due diligence failed. All title insurance claims by buyers are cooperatively handled. The developer and HOA cover any shortfall, so no family loses equity through no fault of their own. If this is accepted by majority vote of the affected homeowners and signed by all defendants within 72 hours, I drop all further claims. If not, we go to trial, and I promise you every email, every permit application, every sales call transcript comes out." The room went quiet. The mediator looked stunned. The developer's face turned gray. Maria spoke first. "If we vote yes, do we really get to stay? Most of us can scrape together the money if it's discounted like that." I nodded. "Yes. And if you can't, you walk away with cash for what you built, not empty-handed." One by one, the homeowners nodded. The board president looked at the developer, who gave a tiny, defeated shrug. 3 days later, the settlement was signed in open court. The judge read it aloud, called it unusually creative and equitable under the circumstances, and approved it on the spot. Over the next 6 months, 87 families bought their lots at the reduced price. Some took second mortgages, some drained retirement accounts, some got family help, but they stayed. 13 families chose to leave. I paid them a combined $4.8 million for their improvements. I later sold those homes myself at full market value. The developer and HOA wired the first $15 million installment the day after signing. The rest came on schedule, no missed payments. The public apology ran as a full-page ad in 3 local papers. It was humble, thorough, and humiliating for them. I never moved back to the land. I kept it as an investment, rented out the 13 homes, collected ground leases from the rest. The monthly income more than covered my city mortgage, and then some. A year later, I drove past the entrance. The sign still read Oak Ridge Estates, a gated community. Kids were riding bikes on the sidewalks. A new playground had gone up near the clubhouse. paid for by the HOA's insurance payout. One little girl waved at me from her front yard. I waved back. I didn't feel like a villain. I didn't feel like a hero either. I just felt like a man who finally got what was his and made sure no one else got destroyed in the process.